When I was first diagnosed, they talked about putting me on the same chemo that I was on 20 years ago. And it was like, really? You haven't come up with anything in 20 years? I was in a long-term romantic relationship. I started to get stomach aches. I thought this was the red flag that the relationship was gonna go south, and it did go south, but I still had the stomach aches. So I started taking probiotics, and they didn't help. So then I went on a plant-based diet, and that didn't help. I coincidentally had a colonoscopy scheduled. It became increasingly difficult up to that time to eat food. I lost a lot of weight very quickly. The preparation, as you may know, for a colonoscopy is kind of heinous, but the night before I was throwing up blood. So I called the gastroenterologist, and I went right in for an endoscopy the next day, and they found a large malignant tumor just below my esophagus. We went from there, and that tumor is now gone. Most of the big ones are gone. But so that's how I was diagnosed. I blamed it on the man who broke my heart, but it wasn't really his fault at all. I have BRCA1, which is the quote-unquote breast cancer gene, and I had fallopian tube cancer 20 years ago with no recurrence whatsoever. So I was shocked. They told me that it was BRCA1 related. I'm like, what? Words fail me, but I was thinking about this morning. It's actually like your body is transported to a foreign country without your permission. Your world is radically changed, and it's very frightening. And plus, I felt really, really, really sick. I was down to like 88 pounds. I feel like I was actively dying, actually, at the point when I was diagnosed. I was very weak. My whole world was upset by it. That's the best way I can say it. I had been through cancer before, but I'm 20 years older now, and this is a different thing entirely, but it's not like I had no experience with chemotherapy and the wonderful world of healthcare. So I had some idea of what I was in for. And my mindset is always, I'll show you. I'm doing chemotherapy. I've had 30 rounds. The last round also included targeted treatment and immunotherapy. I'm not a fan of metaphors, but I described chemotherapy this morning as you're signed up for a marathon that you didn't ask to be signed up for and you haven't trained for, and you show up for the marathon and they say, oh, we forgot to tell you, but you have to run through Jell-O. Your energy is stolen from you, or you're deprived of your energy. And more I think about my job is to manage my energy. So I practice a lot of self-care because I'm in year 2 now, and I'm beginning to understand that the treatment is as trying on my body as the disease. Maybe not as trying, but pretty close second. And it's considered palliative, which means, as far as we know, I'll always be doing some form of chemo. Yeah, I'm learning to deal with that. When I had cancer 20 years ago, I only had 5 rounds, and that was every 3 weeks. This is every other week, and I'm down for an entire week. So I only have 2 good weeks a month to get my whole life in. I think about the word hope a lot, and I'm sorry to be so annoying about language, but I'm a writer. This is what I do. For me personally, and not for anyone else, hope is not the best word, because for me it leads to magical thinking and wishful thinking. And I got this word Posibilista from the Spanish film director Pedro Almodovar, and it means pragmatic optimism. And that works much better for me because it's grounded in the present. So I find myself bargaining I'm bargaining, like, can I have 5 more years? Can I see my dog through his life? And can I have a few extra years for another adventure, before I go? I'm not ready to go. now. Again, that's why I'm very focused on self-care now, because if I'm going to be on these treatments that are so harsh on the body, like how can I best take care of myself, so that I can have a life. Know that you're not a statistic. That's the most important thing. The statistics are good, but they're not relevant to who you are as a person. And again, I think that our main job is to manage our energy, whatever that means for the person. And everybody's really different. I would say be compassionate towards yourself. Be very aware of what gives you energy and what robs your energy. And anything that robs your energy, eliminate it from your life, whether that's people or actions or activities.